Everyone, depending on which part of the world you are you doing today? How are you doing, guys? Hope you guys had a great day today, or you're still having a great day. I want to quickly dive into a continuation of what we've been talking about. I want to look into some more into a new episode. Tonight, I want to talk about the life you're living is the life you're practicing. The life you're living is the life you're practicing. So let me start with something that may sound a little bit simple, but it is a lot deeper than it appears first. The life you're living is the life you're practicing. And that means something serious. When I was thinking about this, I was like, whoa, this is kind of serious. It means your future is not only being hoped for. Your future is not, you're not living in a hope kind of world. No, your future is being rehearsed every day. Your future is being rehearsed every day. Your future is being rehearsed in your habits. Your future is being rehearsed in your routines. Your future is being rehearsed in your reactions. Your future is being rehearsed in your excuses. Your future is being rehearsed in your discipline, in your distractions, in the way you handle pressure. Your future is being rehearsed. In the way you handle pain, your future is being rehearsed. In the way you use time, your future is being rehearsed. Friends, a lot of people keep saying they want a different life. See, since I started doing this thing on YouTube, I've gotten so many kind of talk. I've gotten so many kind of comments. A lot of people keep saying, hey Matt, see, I want a different life from what I'm living today. But every day, what we notice after talking is that every day they're practicing the one they already have. They're practicing chaos. They're practicing delay. They're practicing inconsistency. They're practicing avoidance, fear. They're practicing self betrayal. And then they wonder why life is not changing. They're like, Matt, I want to live a different life, but your practice is saying something else. The life you're living is actually saying something else. So tonight I want to talk about that because some of you are not trapped. From my conversation one-on-one with people, hey Natasha, how you doing? Belinari, how you doing? Thanks for joining. One of the things we find out is that some of you are not trapped. You're actually rehearsing the wrong future. You're actually rehearsing the wrong future. You're not trapped. And if you can see that clearly, that what you're rehearsing is the wrong future, you can actually change it. One of the things a lot of people talk about, like, Matt, why are you talking about these things? I said, hey, I'm talking about these things a lot because awareness is power. Knowledge is power. First, at least with knowledge, you know where you're going to. You're truthful to yourself. That's honesty. And you're able to make changes. Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks so much for joining. If you're joining live, please let us know where you're joining from. And if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Matt Miller, and this is Build for More, a channel that is dedicated for growth, dedicated for development. No hype, no entertainment, growth. Tonight is not about making you feel bad. Tonight is about making you aware. Because awareness is one of the greatest gifts a person can receive. When you finally see what you are reinforcing every day, you stop acting surprised by the results. One of the things I've been consistent about in this channel is letting you guys know that your life can be predicted. There is this atom of predictability. There's this element of predictability in life by just looking at how you're living, by just looking at the principle, your habits. You can tell how things will back up. You might not be correct to the T, but you can be within the premise of the truth. But when you finally see what you're reinforcing every day, you don't get to be surprised at the result. That's where you pack up. Many people say they want peace, but they practice chaos. You see, what they're practicing is chaos. What their focus is on chaos. But they say they want peace. They say they want discipline, but they practice delay every day. They say they want closeness, but they practice distance. They say they want financial stability, but they practice emotional spending. They say they want confidence, but what they practice is self-criticism. They say they want purpose, but they practice distraction. And that disconnect creates frustration. Because what you're saying and what you're practicing are two different things. So that disconnect, it brings frustration. Deep down, people know they are wanting one kind of life while they are training for another. So the life you're living today is actually a rehearsal for your future. You're training, you're getting trained for your future. It is exhausting if you know, oh, I want to be financially free, all right, but I'm living in the realm of an emotional spender. It is exhausting, it is confusing. That's chaotic. Tonight we're going to deal with that honesty. Because if your daily patterns are rehearsing your future, then your daily patterns matters more than you think. And before we go deep, I want you to know this, friends. Whether you do anything from now to 5 years, from now to 10 years, whether you do anything, changes are coming. Changes are happening. And whether you believe it or not, the change will happen. It's how I see it is I prefer to be prepared than not be prepared, because the change will come anyway. 5 years will come, 10 years will come anyway. So why not just go into those 10 years prepared than going into these 10 years not prepared? We are all practicing something every day, and that's the truth. You're practicing something, you're practicing your future. The question is whether you're practicing, whatever you're practicing is taking you towards the life you want or taking you away from the life you want. Friends, repetition is one of the most powerful forces in human life. Repetition is one of the most powerful forces in human life. Whatever you repeat, you reinforce. Whatever you repeat, you reinforce. When you reinforce, you become more natural at it. So what you do every day, whether it is small chunk, whether it is big chunk, you become more natural. It becomes second nature to you. And what becomes natural starts shaping your identity. What is natural to you starts shaping your identity, whether you like it or not. And that is why this message matters so much. Because many people think their life is mainly shaped by big decisions. And yes, big decision matters. Oh, it does matters. But daily repetition, it matters more than what people realize. Daily repetition matters more than what people realize. You don't become patient because you want to be patient. No. You become patient because you repeatedly practice slowing down. That's how you become patient. You don't become patient because you think, oh, I want to be patient now, so I'll just just switch over and be patient. No, patience comes from everyday repeating slowness. You repeat to slow down. That's when patience comes from. You don't become disciplined because you admire discipline. No. You become disciplined because you repeatedly do what needs to be done when you don't feel like it. So even your body is telling you no, you say, I have agreed to do this, I go ahead and do it. And once you do it repeatedly, you become disciplined. You keep to your words, you keep to your time. You don't become peaceful because you post peaceful quotes on social media. No. You become peaceful because you repeatedly stop feeding chaos. You clear away chaos from your life. See, life is a rehearsal. Life is a rehearsal. Every day is a rehearsal. And some people are rehearsing anxiety. Some people are rehearsing lateness. Some people are rehearsing making excuses. Some people are rehearsing inconsistency. Some are rehearsing passivity. They are being very passive. Then they wonder why those things feel natural to them. Why you can easily make excuse. Making excuse is second nature to you. Now you're thinking that is something? No. You have been rehearsing it all your life. For you, being late is second nature. It doesn't happen out of the blue. You have been rehearsing it. You have been rehearsing it. They feel natural. And the truth is painful, but it is also hopeful. Me coming here to tell you that you have been rehearsing it is going to hurt like, Matt, what are you saying? But that is also hopeful because that is actually honesty. That is awareness. Because see, if negative patterns can be practiced, so you can practice positive patterns. You can practice healing. So you can practice discipline. You can practice courage. You can practice focus. You can practice peace. Because the same way you're able to drift towards the left, you can also drift towards the right. Let me ask you something honestly, friends. To be honest, when you think about your life right now, what do you think you've been practicing the most? When you think about your life today, what do you think you've been practicing the most? Have you been practicing peace? Have you been practicing discipline? Have you been practicing avoidance? Or it's a case of chaos or courage? Or you've been practicing distraction or consistency or fear? See, friends, that matters a lot. Because once you can name what you've been practicing, you stop being confused by what keeps showing up in your life. You stop being confused by what keeps showing up in your life. And sometimes people don't need more inspiration first. And like I always say, you don't need a lot of motivation. You first of all need a very honest diagnosis. You need to be diagnosed. You need to have a very thorough and honest diagnosis. You need to look at your life from the lens of truth. You need to look at your life from the lens of truth. Now, something in my mind while I was thinking about this is, I was asking myself, I said, Matt, if this is truth, why is it that people end up practicing the wrong life? Why is it that people end up rehearsing the wrong life? If they know that the way you live your life every day, you're actually rehearsing your future, then why is it that people end up rehearsing the wrong life? One of the answers is because they underestimate daily patterns. A lot of people end up rehearsing the wrong life because they underestimate daily patterns. We have always said patterns build your life. I've always said that on this channel. Patterns build your life. People think that what they do just for today doesn't matter much. But today becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes a pattern. You tell yourself, oh, I'll go to the gym by 6 p.m. today. And 6 p.m. comes, oh, you're sitting in the living room, you're watching TV, you're watching Netflix. And you're like, yeah, it's 6 p.m. Okay, let me just leave it today. I'll go tomorrow. And tomorrow by 6 p.m., you are home, but somebody comes visiting. And you're like, I have a visitor, I can't go. Now it has moved from just today into tomorrow, and it's not becoming a pattern. People underestimate these little daily patterns. So they don't even know they are building for the wrong life. Number two, because comfort is seductive. Oh, we've always talked about comfort on this channel. The wrong life is often easier to practice in the short term. Do nothing. Do nothing. You're practicing the wrong life. Do nothing. Don't put any effort. That, like, somebody was asking me the other day, how hard is it to practice the wrong life? How hard is it to live in comfort? Just do nothing. And a lot of people, they like it that way. Sometimes scrolling on the internet is easier than reflection. Instead of you to sit down and think about your life, you prefer to take the phone and start looking at, oh, what's happening on Facebook? What's happening on Twitter? What's happening on YouTube? Avoidance is easier than the truth. You know the truth. No, 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 I don't want to look into it. You know that your bank account is red. I don't want to even open the app at all. You just try to assume this doesn't work. You do what we call you take the ostrich mentality, avoidance. You do that because avoidance is easier than the truth, so you don't want to face it. And delay is easier than action. Yesterday I talked about procrastination. If you've not seen that, please go check that out. A lot of people are so good at moving things forward, procrastinating, but they don't know that the law of compounding catches up with you, because you procrastinate and tomorrow it becomes so large that your day becomes heavy. Another reason why people just practice the wrong life is because pain shapes pattern. A lot of people are practicing unhealthy lives because pain taught them unhealthy responses. One of the things we are big on in this channel is making sure you heal all your old wounds. Because if you don't heal your old wounds, if you leave old wounds open, those wounds will come back to your life. Making sure you face all your old devils and you take care of them before you go into the future. Pain teaches you, it shapes your pattern. Number 4, people live automatically. People live on autopilot these days. They don't decide how they want to live. They just drift into default settings, default reactions. A lot of people are living like that today. Number 5, because they keep separating future dreams from present routines. A lot of people think the future is one big thing that is separated from the present routine. So I'm going to do whatever I do now. What gotta be, gotta be. When you hear people say what gotta be, they forget that what you do today is what becomes tomorrow. They think the future is one thing and current habits is another, so they want to live their life the way they want it now. But your future life grows out of your present routine. That's the truth, friends. That's the truth. You're not separate from your patterns. Your patterns are rehearsing your future. I remember hearing someone say they desperately wanted peace. They talked about peace all the time. They said they were tired of stress. They were tired of overthinking. They were tired of feeling emotionally overwhelmed. But when you look at their daily routine, their daily life, they were practicing panic. They were waking up and checking their phones immediately, filling every quiet moment with noise, waiting until the last moment for important things. They were avoiding hard conversations. They were running on poor sleep. They hardly sleep. They were reacting emotionally to everything. They wanted peace, but their life was rehearsing chaos. And one day they finally admitted something painfully. I keep asking for a life I'm not training for. That sentence, my friends, is deep. Because a lot of people are asking for things they are not practicing. They're asking for intimacy while practicing distance. They're asking for strength while practicing indulgence. They're asking for confidence while practicing self-doubt. They're asking for change while practicing sameness. And until they see that disconnect, their frustration remains mysterious. But once you see it, things start to become clearer. You realize your life has not been happening to you. You have been rehearsing the life. See, one of the deepest truths about life is this. You become what feels normal to you. You become what you allow. If lateness feels normal to you, you become late. If chaos feels normal to you, you become chaotic. If broken promises to yourself feels normal to you, you become someone who distrusts themselves, who doesn't have self-trust. If calm becomes normal to you, you become calmer. If honesty becomes normal to you, you become more disciplined. Normal is powerful because what feels normal rarely gets questioned. You don't question what is normal. That's why a lot of people need more than motivation. I've always said that. Motivation is not what you need. You need a new normal. You need to recalibrate what normal means to you, and you need a new normal. You need a new repeated pattern. You need a new atmosphere. Because the future is not only built by desire, it is built by normalizing practices. And that's why this conversation matters so much, friends. What have you made normal? What have you normalized in your life? What have you accepted as everyday life? I hear a lot of people tell me, "Matt, this is just me, man. This is who I am." Some say I can't change. Some say I can't learn new stuff. This is just me. What have you accepted as being normal? What are you rehearsing so often that it now feels like this is just who you are? These are very serious questions, my friends. Because many people call repeated patterns personality. They say, "This is my personality. This is my identity." What they are really practicing is what we call practice behavior. I knew of someone who said they wanted a better marriage. They wanted more closeness with their spouse. They wanted connection with their spouse. They wanted warmth. They wanted partnership. I knew of that person. But their daily life was practicing distance. They're coming home, they're tired and they're unavailable. They use all their strength outside and they come home tired and unavailable. Staying on the phone during dinner. Avoiding meaningful conversation. While eating on the table, their head space is residing in a different address. They're only talking about logistics. They are withdrawing instead of opening up. And little by little, distance became normal. Not because they stopped loving each other, no, but because they kept practicing emotional separation. And one day they had to face the truth. We did not wake up disconnected overnight. No, we rehearsed disconnection over time. Friends, that is powerful. That is because, see, relationships do not only grow from intention, they grow from repeated presence, repeated attention, repeated listening, repeated repair. And if you practice distance long enough, it becomes the emotional language of that your relationship. That's why repetition matters so much, because every day you're teaching your life what to become. Let me ask you something real. What life are you afraid of and you are accidentally practicing? Is it a life of regret? Is it a life of distraction? Is it mediocrity? Is it financial stress? Is it loneliness? Is it inconsistency? Is it fear? Friends, that fear matters because sometimes your deepest fear reveals what you need to stop rehearsing right now. If you are afraid of regret, what are you delaying? If you are afraid of financial stress, what habits are you normalizing? Have you become an emotional spender? If you are afraid of loneliness, what relational patterns are you practicing? That's how you use fear wisely. Not to panic, but to become honest. Here is one of the clearest truths I can give you tonight. You cannot practice one life and expect another life. You cannot practice inconsistency and expect mastery. You cannot practice dishonesty and expect trust. You cannot practice emotional avoidance and expect intimacy. You cannot practice distraction and expect clarity. You cannot practice financial carelessness and expect peace. You cannot practice silence in hard moments and expect strong relationships. At some point, reality responds to rehearsal. And some people are heartbroken because they keep praying for a future their habits keep resisting. Now, hear me carefully, my friends. This is not to condemn anyone. This is to awaken you. Because once you understand that your daily life is rehearsal, you stop treating your patterns casually. You stop treating like just this once means nothing. You stop pretending Repeated decisions don't create direction. Direction matters. And every day points you somewhere. Every day points you somewhere. I remember hearing someone talk about how badly they wanted confidence. They wanted to speak more clearly. They wanted to show up. They wanted to show up more boldly. They wanted to trust themselves, but feel secure in who they are, feel secure in their own skin. But when they looked honestly at their life, they realized they were practicing self-betrayal, making promises to themselves and not keeping the promises, saying they will start something and not starting, knowing what mattered and still ignoring it, avoiding hard conversation, living in ways that made them disrespect themselves less, that made them respect themselves less. And that person realized something important. Confidence is not magic. Confidence grows where self-trust grows. And self-trust grows when your actions begin to match your words. So if you keep breaking your word to yourself, you are rehearsing insecurity. That's the truth. That's the truth, my friends. And that is why some people cannot think their way into confidence. They cannot think their way into confidence. They must practice integrity with themselves long enough for confidence to have somewhere to grow. A lot of people have self-sabotaged themselves into less self-trust. They erode it. See, every day, my friend, your life is teaching you something. Every day. The question is, what are you teaching yourself? Are you teaching yourself that discomfort should always be escaped? Are you teaching yourself that deadlines don't matter? Are you teaching yourself that your body can be neglected? Are you teaching yourself that your mind can live under overstimulation? Are you teaching yourself that your own promises are flexible? It doesn't matter? Or are you teaching yourself that what I face matters? Are you teaching yourself that even when I fall, I return quickly? Or I tell the truth no matter what? Or I protect what is valuable to me? Or I can do hard things? Or I become someone stable? This is bigger than productivity, friends. This is bigger. This is identity formation. What you do every day forms your identity, whether you like it or not. And actually, it is the smaller things that forms your identity more, not the big ones. The inner belief becomes your outer life. What shows outside is as a result of your inner person. Your accumulation of thoughts, your innermost thoughts forms the person that shows outside. And that is why the life you're living is the life you're practicing, the life you're rehearsing. Your days are not neutral. Your days are not neutral. They are educational. They are shaping you. And the funniest thing here is whether you like it or not, it is happening. Whether you know or not, it is happening. Whether you believe it or not, it is happening. And like I always say, it's going to happen anyway. Then why not just make sure I'm doing the right things so that I can actually predict how my future is going to look like? I remember hearing a parent one time, they told me, hey, Matt, I realized my children were not just listening to what I said. They were learning what I practice. For me, that was deep. Because children do not absorb instructions only. They also absorb reading. They absorb what you do. They absorb emotional tone. How are you talking to them? They absorb patterns. If you are practicing panic, your children start feeling panic. If you're practicing patience, they feel that presence. If you practice distraction, they learn distraction. If you're practicing honesty and repair, they learn that too. And this particular parent in question realized that their children were growing up inside the atmosphere of their repeated habits. That made them retrace their steps and change their ways. Because suddenly growth was not abstract anymore. It was relational. The stakes became very clear. And I think that matters for all of us. Because your life is not only practicing for you. The people around you feel your patterns too. Your spouse feels them, your children feel them, the team that you work in feels them, your friend feels them. And that is why daily life matters. It teaches more than words can ever teach. So you might ask me, Matt, if that is the truth, what should I be focused on? What should I practice instead? If you want a different life, start rehearsing it in small ways. Practice peace. Practice peace by slowing down before reacting. Practice discipline by doing the small hard things daily. Practice honesty by naming what is true instead of hiding from what is true. Practice courage by facing one thing you have been avoiding. Practice presence by putting your phone down and actually being where you are. Practice financial peace by looking at the numbers instead of fearing the numbers. Practice health by caring for your body in simple, repeated ways. Practice self-respect by keeping one small promise to yourself. This is how change becomes believable. Not because you declared it loudly, not because you shout, not because you tattooed it on your forehead. No. Because you rehearse it. You rehearse it quietly. If you want to imagine 10 years from now, like I always do, and you're looking back at the life you're living right now, what will hurt you more? The change that felt hard, or that you kept rehearsing a life that you already knew you did not want? That's the real question. Because some people do not lose years because they lacked vision. They lose years because they kept practicing the wrong reading. Friends, that's powerful. Because a new life often begins with a new reading, long before it shows up as a new result. Like I did say, you are a sum total of what's happening within you. You are a sum total of what's happening within you. If every day you are avoiding one important thing, you are practically rehearsing delay. Every day you are harsh to yourself, you're practicing shame. You spend without looking, you are rehearsing instability. That's why small things matter so much. Because the future is not one giant leap. It is practiced into existence. The stronger people are not always the most gifted people. Many times, they are the most practiced, they are the most consistent people. Practice at telling the truth. Practice at returning even when they slip and fall. Practice at staying steady. Practice at protecting what matters. Any practice change that feels possible should be practiced. People do not become disciplined overnight. They become disciplined when they start acting disciplined. They start acting disciplined on very small things. They act disciplined long enough for discipline to become second nature, becomes natural. That's what changed their life. That's what made them disciplined. Not because they talked about it, not because they tattooed it on their head. No, because they practice it. Friends, if this resonates with you, kindly like this live, share it to someone, and also subscribe to our channel. I hope this will change your life as it did mine. And I do hope that your story will start going forward. You start practicing what you want and living the life you want. Thank you so much, friends, for your time. Thank you for your support. This is Matt Miller signing out. I'll talk to you guys later in the day. So have a great day. Peace.